would you stand up for a friend? Yeah! That's right. I like your attitude.
My name's Chris Jarvis. I'm 37 years old and have had diabetes for 24 years.
My name's Lisa Gielan, and I'm a mom of a type 1. My daughter is 11 years old. She was diagnosed 7 years ago.
We have been on a tour together, visiting schools all across Ontario to help students that are living with type 1 and their teachers to learn and better understand and be buddies.
I realized how much of an invisible disability this is when I was in the Olympic team, because everybody asked me about it, and I realized how little they actually knew about what I was doing every day. All the finger pokes, insulin, the low blood sugars and the high blood sugars. And that really brought it to light how important it was for me to start sharing more and to start being a bigger advocate. Everybody else is eating their lunch and we need to take insulin, and maybe you might overcome that fear of needles too.
What is diabetes and how it affects people differently, and what does that look like in the school environment?
I find having diabetes at school a little scary because not everybody understands it, but it's kind of interesting because you see things completely different from other people, and you also have the chance to teach people things that they wouldn't have known.
He's a type 1 diabetic, and he is my friend for today.
I stay in class for testing. A little bit nervous, just kind of seeing my sugars go up.
So me and Jack are gonna go ahead and really quickly test our blood together. That's it. So there's a little needle that hit my finger, and you're gonna tell us if it's normal, or if it's high, or if it is low.
If they've ever tested their blood, they're probably like 5, 6, 7. But mine is like 21. It's like a surprise to them, but really it's kind of how it goes when you have diabetes.
I asked the teacher if I could be excused so I could go test, because I'm kind of shy when it comes to testing, because again, not everybody understands why I have all this stuff with me. So this is my backpack, or my mom puts it in the medical bag, like my glucagon, needles, like just backup stuff, a lot of low supplies. It's kind of hard to carry this around sometimes because it can get heavy.
Well, I think this school tour is so important because a lot of times people are afraid to step outside of that boundary. And I was so shy as a kid. I would never have stood up in my own classroom or talked to my teacher, because I was afraid of the consequences or putting somebody else in harm's way.
They send home a package every September. It's supposed to be filled out, the what to do's when, for each student that has a medical condition. For any of us that were new to it, like I was, I didn't know the first thing about the difference between type 1 and type 2. I need them to know in the emergency situations what to do. What does it look like?
A number of friends from our community, whether or not they're PhD students with type 1 diabetes to athletes that have accomplished things both provincially and internationally, have jumped on board and been willing to speak at schools this round as well.
I've raced dragon boat with diabetes for 7 years. So I've been diabetic for 9 years, raced for 7. So I volunteer, at least within the type 1 diabetes community, because when I was younger, there wasn't a lot of people that I looked up to in terms of type 1 diabetics. So I want kids that are younger to have someone who does things that are great and can come out and just talk to them about it. I have my pancreas right here. You guys all have one of these inside of your body. Unfortunately, mine just doesn't happen to work. So I have mine here, and then I have this one that helps me to give me insulin as well.
Oh, if I tell people I get diabetes, they already know that. They won't, but it's kind of as a joke. But some people actually have serious questions, like one of my relatives have diabetes, but they take medication instead of what you do. Why is that different? Then I'll tell them.
So he's asking, in the middle of the night, do we have to wake up and give ourselves insulin ourselves? No, so our insulin pump actually gives us insulin all the time.
Diabuddies is fantastic. I think that if they can provide something for the schools that the schools can rely on for getting information, then that will make a big difference. There needs to be accountability for the schools. The schools need to know that everybody else is working really hard, and then they need to be accountable for the policies and actually implement them so that the child, when they come to school, they have a really good experience. Right now, they don't. And then from that, maybe big things will happen.
Kids that are younger have a lot more needs, in a sense, they're not independent with their care, and they need a lot more support. For us, Brooklyn's older, she has a pump, she's very independent, but she still needs help. she still needs that awareness and she still needs the school to be on board with.
So we need your help sometimes. So in class, if Jack says, hey, I'm a little high or I'm a little low, I might need some help, always ask him. Well, do you need me to get you something? Do you need me to find you something? Do you need me to get a teacher for you? Anything like that you guys can do.
If you don't know what to do to help, the most important thing you can do is to ask a teacher.
The kids' friends are excited and they think of different ways of how they could help their friend with type 1. From a little thing of bringing them their homework if they're sick, or maybe staying in for recess if their friend's experiencing a low. But all these things help people feel not alone, and also makes other kids realize that they have challenges and everybody has a challenge and we're all in it together.
But even though Anna has diabetes, it doesn't stop her from doing anything, and she's still such a great friend, and she can do as much as we can do.
People who are newly diagnosed still feel like they can't do certain things, whether or not it's a class trip or a sport or a profession. And you know what? There's so many people out here ready to support you and to help you overcome whatever it is that stands in your way. It's really important for type 1s to know that with type 1 diabetes, you don't get it from doing anything wrong.
Not really my fault. I couldn't do anything about it. My body attacked my pancreas and don't get a hormone in my body that I should be getting.
You have to do some extra things, but it doesn't stop you from doing what you want to do.
Do not let diabetes hold you back. You can do anything that you want to. You just have to manage your diabetes while doing it.
As though you may feel alone, you're really not, and it's kind of hard to see that or hear it at first. Kind of a shock, new change. There are people you can turn to. You can always turn to friends, family, counselors. You can go to camp, you can go online. So you're really not alone, and you're never alone when it comes to this.